everyone, this is Mindy Eggen for My Favorite Things, and in today's video, we are going to create this fun birthday card using the balloon party stencil. Some of the other products I'll be using today is Eat Lots of Cake stamp set and the Happy Happy Birthday stamp set, along with the balloon party stencil. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with my background and that balloon party stencil. I have 80-pound white cardstock that I'm adding a little bit of low tack tape to the back and kind of adhering that to my make art station so my cardstock doesn't move around. Then I placed the balloon party stencil over the top, holding it down with my magnets and covering up the bottom portion of the stencil with some post-it notes. I'm ink blending on Candied Apple Distress Oxide ink, and I'm going to use this color throughout the entire background. So after I put on my first layer of balloons, I'm going to remove the post-it notes and just flip my stencil so I have this second layer of balloons. These are going to layer kind of around the previous ones. Then I'm going to come in again with that candied apple, and I'm going to really vary in the shade of color just by how much pressure I'm applying. I want to cover the whole piece of cardstock, which measures 4¼ by 5½. And I'm just going to continue flipping that stencil just so I have all those different layers of balloons, these different shades. So some are lighter, some are darker. And I just really want to fill up that entire cardstock. Now, after a while, I did kind of get rid of the post-it notes. I was just a little bit more careful and light-handed, really focused in on each particular balloon and trying not to overblend and get it on the rest of my cardstock. After I have most of this filled in, I'm going to set that off on the side and work on my image. I fell in love with this cute little elephant in a party hat off of the Eat Lots of Cake stamp set. I have 80-pound white cardstock here, and I'm stamping the elephant in the MFT Extreme Black ink. I'm going to stamp it twice to make sure I have just some really crisp lines since it is a brand new stamp that I hadn't used yet. Then I'm going to color the elephant with my Copic markers. I am using C4, C3, C1, and C0. I'm going to keep the highlight area mainly to the center of the elephant. So I started out with the C4 on the edge of the face and kind of on the edge of the legs and the feet, and then just use the remaining markers to kind of blend that out. I didn't use the darkest colors, the C4 and C3, a lot because I really wanted it to be a nice, soft, light gray. I used my darkest gray, the C4, to fill in the little tips of his feet. And then I'm going to do a light pink for the ears. So for that, I'm going to be using R22 and R20. I use the R22 to kind of go towards closest to the head and then fill that out with the lightest color. And then I'm going to use some reds. I have R29, 24, and 22 for the hat. And I thought that would just tie in really nice with my background. And then I'll use the coordinating die to die cut out the image. I trimmed down my balloon panel to 3½ by 4¾ and I lined up this happy birthday from the Happy Happy Birthday stamp set. I'm using my Misty ruler to make sure that it is straight. And then I picked that up with the Door of the Misty and I'm inking this up with a VersaFine black ink. And this is just a really great black ink to stamp on top of Distress Oxides. I'm just going to make sure to let it sit there for a second as I gently press down to make sure I'm getting a really good solid transfer. Now, VersaFine ink does stay wet for a little while, so I'm going to just go ahead and use my heat tool to help speed up that drying process. And then I can add foam tape to the back of this panel to help pop it up from the background. I removed the backing of the foam tape and I'm adding it to an A2 size white card panel. And once I attach this, it's going to leave a really nice thick white margin around my balloons, which I think helps break up that color. Then I also popped up my elephant with a foam square as well. I'm adding a few confetti sequins using my jewel picker and some liquid glue to each side of the sentiment, and then adding a few white highlights using my Jelly Roll pen just to the side of the head and a little bit on the trunk. And that's going to finish off my party balloon birthday card. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for joining me today.